afternoon, and I'm glad to be your substitute, Terry. And you have to bear with me for the next 20 minutes, and I hope we make the 20 minutes worth you coming back from a lovely lunch that you just had. I thought I'd give a quick intro of who is R3, because there's probably a lot of you here who don't know who we are. We're pretty proud that we are an Asian consultancy that has grown globally from here. And in fact, actually, when we started the company 15 years ago, the other co-founder was based in KL, and I was based in Singapore. And since then, we've kind of spread our wings. We've got offices in New York, London, China. And what we do is work with CMOs and their organizations to drive greater return on agencies, on media, and on their overall investment. So whilst a lot of the logos that you see here are big global brands that we've worked with, and very, very lucky to be working with them over a long period of time, we do have some local and regional clients that we advise to. So that kind of put us in this position, right? That as we observe across the world, our clients are very, the clients that we've seen, including the one you heard from this morning, like Unilever, they really care about marketing, and they care about marketing as a driver of their business. And so they want to be ahead of their competitors, and actually sometimes the competitors are not just in the category, they really want to be best in class in marketing. And it's our job as their consultant to keep them on top of what's happening, the latest insights and trends, and cross-category, cross-markets. So they have a natural curiosity and competitiveness to them. And we felt there's not a lot of good reports or best practice sharing in general in marketing, and especially in Asia. So we focus a lot of our own resource and our own initiatives on bringing the latest insights and trends and what's happening in Asia to the world. And that really, so 3 years ago, we published China CMO, because what was happening in China was really leading edge. We were kind of amazed at the pace of adoption of everything, not just marketing, but the clients there are very curious. They have risk appetite to try a lot of things that we don't see in other markets, and we felt that that's not just something that is worthy for other marketers in China, but actually all over the world. And with that, we got the confidence and also a lot of encouragement from our partners to say, hey, why you only write about China? How about the rest of Asia? So we say, okay, if we're going to do Asia CMO, we'll take it to the next level, we'll do it even better, and we partnered with the Singapore Economic Development Board to do a study among 30 regional CMOs to hear from the horse's mouth, really what are some of their challenges. So you see these logos, which is a better mix of local, regional, and global brands operating in Asia, who cared to share with us through a very in-depth study on what are the opportunities and challenges that they see that's facing them as they're doing their job. And we've got in the book quite a number, I think 13 companies that were interviewed in depth to share their learnings. Now, I'm not sure if everyone's aware. I think earlier Rakesh talked about the world, the economy is moving east and south. And why? Because we are already 40% of the global economy. Now, but what's even more interesting is that by 2020, 60% of the world's millennials will be in Asia. Now, I'm clearly not a millennial, but I think pretty soon I will be reporting to one, and because they will all be your bosses. I don't know, just by a show of hands, who are millennials here? Okay, who are millennials at heart? So I thought I'll play you this video to give you a flavor of how millennials think. Hang on. Can you help me play the video? Thank you.
How about you tell me something about yourself?
So actually, I'm calling about the telemarketing position.
What part of 9 to 5 do you not understand?
The 2 to 4 p.m. part.
You will be my boss?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Are you bossy?
Okay, you can give me a car though, right?
We don't provide that. No car.
No car for personal use.
No?
No.
Okay, let me just park.
Okay.
So you see, as you're hiring your next brand manager, you know you're competing with Uber, right? So we are not just trying to attract talent, the millennials in the workforce, and groom them, but we are also marketing to them. They are the most marketed to target audience everywhere in the world. And so we are in a good place. Just remember, 60% of them will be in our part of the world by 2020. So there are a few attitudes towards branding and marketing that we gleaned from this study. So 83% of the people in emerging Asia shows trust in brands, right? So that's very good news. Why? Versus the global average, which is 50, right? So we still have a job, right? And you can still go back and tell your bosses with confidence that branding is really important. Now, but don't forget that 40% of them, though, would not really care if your brand do not exist tomorrow. So we can't, the moral of the story is that you cannot take it for granted, right? You have to keep sowing the seeds for tomorrow. And we get quite a lot into the whole role of marketing in organizations. Now, it's good that 69% believe that, marketing influences growth strategy. Now, I think this has been creeping up, although quite slowly, in Asia, because this is an area where there will still be a lot of, we call it SMEs, but SMEs, as you know, is actually quite broad, and it's a very large segment of most economy, right? A lot of SMEs still question marketing. Has it ever happened to you? They just see marketing as a spend and not so much a growth driver. So this is an important mindset that needs to be built and nourished. And also a very healthy percentage believe that marketing in itself can drive a competitive advantage. So we know, we work with a lot of clients where they are, truthfully, operating in a category where most of the time their products do not naturally have a competitive edge, right? The features are the same. I mean, if you look at mobile phone, and I think over lunch we were talking about telcos and all that. The product parity is happening quicker and quicker because it's very easy to copy, right? So what's really going to differentiate you is really how clever you are in reaching your consumer and making them spend money with you. And we have a quote from Mei-Ling, who was interviewed for the book and contributed her wisdom and her insights. Unlike a lot of regions in the world, the Asia-Pacific region is really probably the most competitive as well as complex, and we move at pace. So it's a real challenge to really stay ahead of the curve, right? And what's really happening outside your everyday world. So it's remarkable that we have a lot of marketers here today, exchanging and learning and keeping yourself up to date. A lot of you don't have that luxury of time, right, to always be out there. Now this is but if you're not out there, if you are not getting inspiration outside your day-to-day work, then it's very difficult for you to stay ahead. And on that mindset of innovation, again, is encouraging that 55% believe marketing is essential for innovation advantage. Now, when we look across the own clients that we work with, I think generally in the CPG sector, marketing has always played quite an instrumental role on innovation. But if you look at IT, even banking, even some of the other services, less so. Marketing is a bit further away from innovation, certainly in technology, but it actually needs to get closer. and because of the pace of disruption that we are seeing across category, there is a certain uncertainty. Only 86% of the marketers are somewhat prepared, right? In fact, only 3% said we are prepared, right? So, again, that means you can't keep applying your same rule book, that you have been doing for the last 2 decades. Sometimes you have to throw that away and start again. I'm highlighting on data and tech because this came up as a really big gap for the marketers that we talked to. 62%, that's more than half, dissatisfied with how their own organization is using data and tech in their work. And at the same time, more than half also feel that we need more budget to understand our consumers better. Because your consumers and your threats, your competition is now not the usual competition. You see that in insurance, in travel, your aggregators are now possibly your competitor as well, right? And if you are a CPG, some of your partners are becoming a competitor, Amazon, right? As e-commerce become more and more pervasive, so what is stopping Amazon? They're already doing their own house brands. They own the customer information. So how are you going to compete with that? You need more budget to invest in understanding your consumer better. So it is therefore very natural to say, how are you filling those gaps, right, that you currently face in your organization? And 55% of marketers say, you know what, we are not very happy with the agencies who are supporting us right now. They are all questioning if they have right, amongst this group, what I mean by that is, do I really have the right agency helping me out on the right things? So the whole agency model, am I working with them the right way? We know we can leverage a lot of their expertise, but it's probably not optimized to what it needs to be now. The old way of working with them and assigning that kind of scope to them is questionable. But the good news for agencies is that 45% of these clients still believe that you can help them fill those gaps. They are not naturally thinking, not everyone is thinking that I can do this in-house, which is a topic that comes up a lot. Like, why, if agency is not delivering it, why do I need to put up with their lack of performance? Why don't I build my in-house team? So it was an interesting quote from the CEO of Chope, which is an online platform, and they are totally digital. They have all the tech capability. And I thought what he's saying makes a lot of sense. And coming from him, someone who has all that data and tech capability, but still feel that there's if you are running such a big business, you really want to surround yourself, right, with experts. So there's still an important role that agencies play as experts in connecting you with your consumer, in coming out with the creativity and the cut-through, in building that brand love and that loyalty. So we wanted them to look to the future and say, what are the most important, when you reflect on your own role as the CMO of the organization, what do you need to do more of, and what is your future? And these two themes came up consistently in different ways, and it's really about consumer experience and engagement as the two most important focus area for them to stay ahead. And the whole consumer experience is not just for products that you buy off the shelf, right? I mean, the CPG companies are kind of better at doing that. They have always recognized the path to purchase better. Now, banks are starting to think about this. Travel services are thinking about this. I mean, the whole spectrum of financial travel services, because they are getting disrupted, right? And who is better to help you shape a better consumer experience than your marketing team? It shouldn't be your tech team or your product team working in silos anymore. Marketing needs to have a seat on the table to design the best customer experience for the brand. And you can't do that and not be without engaging your consumer. So they expect you to be reachable 24/7 because there's all these platforms that's available, and there's no opening hours anymore. From a CRM perspective, from an interaction perspective, they are always on. So how do you turn a mass communication model that you've been using in a large part of your career into an always-on model? And there's kind of different versions of that you possibly need to create for the different segments of your business, depending on the target audience and the product you're selling them. And if CMOs don't get involved in that grand big picture on customer experience, then this could be a possible outcome that you might see.
Target's been neutralized. I'm heading to the hotel. Checking into the penthouse. The name's Hunter.
Certainly, Mr. Hunter. I have your reservation right here. Wait, did you say Hunter?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have a Hunter.
But you emailed the confirmation to my watch.
Well, marketing handles emails. Oh, I have a Hanson.
No, it's Hunter. I picked my room on your app.
Oh, we have so many apps,
But I'm a platinum member. And I even have a promotion from your website.
Promotions are on a different system, but I do have a single on the ground floor, Mr. Hanson.
It's Hunter. My name is Hunter.
So it's quite classic, right? You book with a different team. You have pre-sales, you have post-sales, and you have customer loyalty, but they're not talking to each other. So this is probably a good video to bring that to life to your CEO if you're trying to get more involved. So looking at that, understanding where the gaps are right now, what's important for the future, let's look at what are therefore the 3 key success factors for CMOs. And I've always said across the board that the best CMOs we've worked with are not just the ones who are good at doing their job. They are actually, the best are great at marketing their job so that their organization, their colleagues understand that marketing is important and they attract the best people to work for them because when you're in that team, you feel recognized, right? So how do you have that kind of leadership? I think it needs to come inside out. And what I mean by that is, as a CMO, you are not just leading your team internally, right? Your brand managers or your brand executives or your marketing executives. You are actually also, your job is also to lead all your agency partners that you work with and to inspire them to do more for you, right? So that you never have, they care about your business as much as you do. And the best leaders are also the ones who are humble enough to know that they don't know everything. And they have a mindset of encouraging that curiosity by setting a good example for them, for their team, that we must, this habit of always on learning and sharing and inspiring. And you'll be amazed that how that amplifies, and that is actually probably the best message to send to your peers. And you can't do it alone. Right? Even clients who do a lot of work in-house, they know that at some point they need to seek some external inspiration or to say, are we just too narrow-minded? We need to broaden our horizon. We need to look at, are we best in class? How are others doing it better? And I think that's where surrounding yourself with the right partnerships really can give you that competitive edge in the market. So these are kind of like the 3 areas that we see as common opportunities across a lot of categories and clients. And I hope some of that resonated with you today. And on the topic of learning, you have the rest of the afternoon and tomorrow to be inspired and to learn. And this is probably why R3 is really passionate about supporting Appies and raising the bar for the industry. So with that, thank you. If you want more information about the study or the survey, do write to me. I have only 2 copies of the book left, I think. It's available on Amazon. All right, thank you.